Hey guys, Chicago injury lawyer Scott DeSalvo here, and in today's video, the topic of today's video is sometimes you really do have to take your lawyer's advice. So what do I mean? Well, I had a situation with a pretty good injury case. So what do I mean by pretty good? Well, it was a real, objective, provable injury. Nothing could be denied about that. That was definitely suffered in the accident. No question about it. So this isn't a situation where somebody had a bad back or neck and x-rays or MRIs show arthritis, or they had another recent accident that would explain the complaints. This was dead clear, and icing on the cake, dead clear liability, really good liability. In other words, there is no question that the defendant caused the accident. No question at all. They broke safety rules and they injured my client. No question about it. Now, if the case had any weaknesses, I would say it's in the treatment arena. There was a gap in treatment, and some of the medical doctors chosen to do the medical treatment were not the most, do not have the best reputation. And believe it or not, the insurance companies do track doctors who are accused of over-treating or making a mountain out of a molehill. Now, in this situation, I know the client very well, and I believe him, and he can treat with whomever he wants. But even though his medical bills were pretty big, his course of treatment was like 3 or 4 months. And then he was discharged with really no ongoing problems. Hasn't been back to the doctor for like a year. But, listen, no case is perfect, but we have, if you've watched my other videos, you know that a good case comes down to clear liability, meaning it's clearly their fault, an injury they can't argue about, and the injury is absolutely related to what they did wrong, and somebody who can afford to pay, or a big insurance policy. We have most of those. But, the thing that I always tell people on injury cases is when we get in front of a judge and jury, if there are a few things that they can pick out of the medical records that just don't make sense, and, I've been doing this for 25 years, almost every file in my office, no matter how clean and straight, a good defense lawyer can pick out a few things and make a mountain out of a molehill, okay? But in this file, there really are some things that are sort of difficult, sort of affect the case value. So we were able to get a demand out for this guy. We did a great job on the demand. I'm very proud of it. Got it out very quickly, and the other side wanted to go to mediation. Well, that's great news. Usually when a company wants to go to mediation, it means they know, they've read my demand letter, and because it's a substantial case, they want to get a judge involved. And listen, a mediation is a fancy word for a settlement conference. I do a submission setting out the case. The other side can or may choose not to. And we go there and we meet with the judge, me, my client, the judge, and representatives from the defendant and the defendant's insurance company, as well as their lawyer. And we go back and forth, and the judge's job is to get us to go down and get them to come up and meet in the middle. Well, we mediated. They came out of the gate with a pretty good offer. I was hopeful. We got them way up. We got them a much, much, much better offer than I thought we were going to, and I encouraged the client to take it. And the client rejected the offer and rejected my advice. Now, I went into a private room with my client and I said, listen, there are some problems with this case that you need to be aware of, and whether you're aware of them or not, they exist. And we can settle this case for a number that is pretty close to what you would get in a good outcome at trial, or if you really don't want the money, it is against my advice. So he had a number in his head. He had a number in his head that was like 3 times larger than what the offer was. And by the way, it was a number that he was never going to get at trial, in my opinion. You know me, if you've watched my other videos, I'm very honest and frank with people about the value of a case. I don't inflate the value of a case, and I don't like giving people exact numbers. But when you come up with a pie in the sky number, it's a bad idea. And, you know, after talking to him and getting him to sign something saying that he's rejecting the offer against my advice, I find out why that number was stuck in his head, because he did the math, and that number was going to be able to pay off a giant bill he had. And I told him, listen, that is not how this works. You know, you may need 100,000 in your pocket, 200,000 in your pocket. You may need that. But if the case isn't worth that, you need to take what we can get reasonably, and based on my experience, we should take the money. No, trust me, you know, they're going to pay more. And I'm like, listen, I'm more familiar with this defendant than you are, and when they ask you to a mediation, they're not going to call me back in a month or two and double or triple their offer. And their opening offer was very reasonable, and we got them up higher than I thought we would. Nothing I said would convince this guy. And like I said, I had him sign something saying it was his decision to walk away from the offer. So, you know, Reader's Digest, client calls me back later and tells me he wants the money. And I told him, you know, he said, try to get more, but yeah, maybe we should take the money. Well, there's no guarantee that the money is on the table anymore. They told me at the mediation, and I told him that the money on the table was there for the duration of the mediation, and after that, they're pulling it. And I told him that. And a lot of insurance companies are insulted and mad that they had to come to this mediation, pay a lawyer to prepare for it, and then participate in a 4 or 8 hour mediation where everyone is doing nothing but try to settle the case. And they weren't able to do it even after making a very fair offer. I don't blame them. So in this client's case, I was able to resurrect the offer and get more money. But it literally took 6 months for me to do that. You know, and it was touch and go. I had to schmooze him a little bit and kiss butt a little bit and persuade him and call him a million times. So in this case, all's well that ends well, and I was able to get him a little bit more money than what was going on at the mediation, but they didn't want to pay. They did not want to pay. And so that's why I tell people, like, you believe me, I want every penny in your pocket that I can make happen. And obviously, the more money the case settles for, my fee is based on a percentage of what we win for you. I want you to have a big settlement too. But I'm also very familiar with what happens at the courthouse. So, you know, this client made a huge mistake by not taking my advice. I was able to fix it, but it was stressful. It was stressful. After he turned it down, and a month went by, he's calling me with, you know, his financial pressures and stuff like that. And I told him, buddy, what do you want me to do about it? Like, you signed this agreement because I told you were making a mistake. But luckily, we were able to get it resurrected. And I'm blessed with clients who, for the most part, trust my advice, work with me on these things. So, you know, that's why I tell people you've got to work with a lawyer who communicates with you and whose advice you trust. So it's going to be very, you know, I've had lots of people call me with old cases or cases that were going on where they fired the lawyer, and they told me the story, and the lawyer would never explain anything to them. And early on in the case, they said the case was worth $75,000, and now they're telling the client that they have to take $14,000. Or the case settled for $50,000, and after the lawyer gets paid and everybody gets paid, they're only putting $3,000 in their pocket. The injured person is putting $3,000 in their pocket on a $50,000 settlement? I think the lawyer handling that case has some explaining to do. I've never done anything like that to a client, and I never would, but You know, that's why you need to trust your lawyer and understand what he's doing, and understand what the problems with the case are. I mean, I know a lot of younger lawyers, and listen, I have sympathy for lawyers. It's a hard job. But you know what? At the end of the day, you owe your client an explanation in a situation like that. So if you trust your lawyer, you got to take his or her advice. That's the Reader's Digest on all this, okay? So thank you for watching. If there's anything I can do for you, if you've been involved in an accident or you have anybody to refer, please give me a call anytime, day or night. 312-500-4500. Free call, free conversation. You're not getting charged anything for my advice. But what if you're not ready to talk to a lawyer? Well, I've got 2 killer tools on my website. One is called the Case Cash Calculator. The links are in the description. Case Cash Calculator tells you the settlement value of your case might be, and the Good Case Calculator tells you whether you might have a good case or a case with some challenges. And here's the best part. Best part is 100% free on my website, no obligation. Use it as many times as you want. Share it with your friends. The beauty part of it is 15 seconds flat. You answer 7 multiple choice questions off the top of your head, and in 10 or 15 seconds flat, you have customized answers that pertain to your particular injury situation, all without talking to a lawyer. So that is pretty sweet circumstance for you, my friend. People love it. I'm getting a lot of people giving me positive feedback on those. The links in the description, so check that out. My YouTube channel has well over 300 videos like this one where I explain aspects of injury law. So give it a watch. If you know, and you can go to my page and type in the search bar with your question. You'll probably get a video that explains it. But if you don't, you can leave a comment in the comment section. And if you enjoy my video, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel, okay? Finally, if you enjoy my videos, my advice, all that good stuff, the tools on my website, my free book, my free DVD, all the free stuff I give to explain to injured people how all this stuff works, then there's a favor you can do for me that would really help me out. Only takes you 5 or 10 seconds to do. There's a link in the description below. If you click that link, it'll take you to my review page. If you give me a 5-star review, say a kind word, hit submit, 5 seconds of work for you, an invaluable favor to me, because studies show that people really rely on those reviews in deciding who to hire as their injury lawyer. And after all, I do not make any money from my YouTube channel. I only make money by representing injured people in cases. So bring me your case, bring me your referral, and on top of that, if you can do me the favor of other stuff, it would be helpful to me. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day. If I can help you in any way, 312-500-4500. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.